What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out another TEMU Top 5 Sold. This is so far for the year of 2025. Now, these lists are compiled from multiple different contacts I have at TEMU. And with these lists, they all tend to kind of be different, but have some of the same things. So we kind of compiled it. I have a couple of things outside of that list, a couple of things in. But without that, let's hop into it. So first up, guys, we are going to be starting out with the mini container. So the mini container here is a screwdriver set that comes in this nice nifty little case right here. It is magnetized shut. It does come with an extra magnetic clip that goes right here, but I lost that. I've actually been using this kit now for a couple of months working on small electronics, computer builds, stuff like that. What's cool about this is the inside. So here on the inside, we have a bunch of different little plastic attachments here. You have the main screwdriver tool here. Now, big downside, I ordered the electronic version. And this is not electronic, this is manual. So the electronic version that I originally ordered was about $15 more, so it's very unfortunate, but we all know TEMU prices change every minute, every hour, every day. They're kind of all over the place. This one here cost me about $33 when I got it. Of course, links will be down below if you guys are interested. What is also odd is it has this little magnetic attachment here. It feels like it's going to multiple positions, but it can also just pop off. I think it's more of a fidget toy. It doesn't actually do anything. But either way, this has been a very useful tool. And so far the bits are all holding up really well. It's definitely something I would recommend. You can see there's a couple small pieces taken out. They're sitting over there on the desk. I have used this quite a bit already. But as far as what the kit comes with, the amount of bits, the quality of the bits, the extensions, you also have a couple of tweezers in here, some longer bits, a bit extension, a couple of plastic prying tools. Honestly, a really solid little kit for the price. Keep in mind, guys, these lists that I get are not the end all be all. They are not going to be perfectly accurate because there are so many different sellers and so many different product listings on TEMU. All right, next up, we have ourselves a food warming mat. These things seem to be selling like crazy. This is a pretty consistent number 5 on most of my lists. I have not opened this or tested it yet. I know that they're not very expensive. Looks like we have ourselves a removable 2-prong connector cable. Very simple AC cable. Electric tray user manual. And then it looks like it comes in this nice little storage bag. I mean, the silicone quality feels really nice, actually. Comes with a nice little strap to keep it rolled up. All right, very nice. Oh, check this out. This is the bottom side. So it keeps it up off of the table, so you don't have to worry about overheating the table or things that shouldn't be heated. Actually, if I'm being honest, guys, from the pictures, this looks a lot nicer than what I thought it was gonna be. Might take a little bit of time to roll it out, but you know what? Let's go ahead and plug it in. Let's let it heat up and see how hot it actually gets. To plug it in, you have your connector right over here on the side. Let's go ahead and click that in there. All right. And then once it comes on, this thing beeps. Get the nice little plastic. Ooh. It had a plastic peel removal sticker on there, but there was no plastic peel. It actually started to pull it up. All right, to turn it on, it is a long press here on the power. It looks like you can long press the power and the temperature button together to lock. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna jump it right up to the top mode. It's only been about a minute. I'm getting the thermal camera connected here, but I can already feel heat with my hand. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like on the thermal camera. Here, we'll put it right below. Check that out. You can see where all of the heating elements are. That's pretty cool. Coming in from the side. Right over here is where the plug connects in. And we have all these different coils heating up. Now, let's see what temperature we're getting. We're already at about 117 degrees on the hot end. It's heating up quick, guys. We've only had it going for about 2 minutes now. All right, we're gonna give it a couple more minutes and see what it gets up to. All right, just for some comparisons, there's the computer over there. That's the setup, guys. We got a couple of studio lights, and then back down to the heating pad. Let's see what we're up to. 130 degrees already, not bad. For anybody who's curious, this is the Milisi TP2, not sponsored. It's just one I've had kicking around for a while. It is not a cheap thermal camera, but most of the thermal cameras out there are shooting like 360p. This one goes up to 4K, so it's pretty awesome. If you have a use for a thermal camera, I highly recommend this one. I've been using it a lot. As you can see, totally wireless. And yeah, it also has this nice little feature here. You flip out the legs and it can connect right to the back of the phone. Honestly, I wonder if this thing would be good for defrosting a windshield in the winter, you know? Got some real thick ice on there, just go lay it face down. I'm not saying you should try that. That's probably a horrible idea, but there could be a lot of uses for this thing. I really did not think this thing was gonna be this kind of quality. This thing is nice. This is some very, very nice silicone. It is putting off a little bit of a smell to it, probably because it's the first time being used. We are about 5 minutes in and it's at about 150. You can actually feel the heat coming. I mean, it's radiating pretty good. The thermal camera itself isn't showing too much else just yet. It's just kind of the same, but it's helping keep track of the actual temperature. Now, technically, the temperature this thing is supposed to get up to is hot enough to boil water, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. But realistically, you can put a pan on here, and between heat transfer and heat loss, this thing's probably never, ever gonna boil water. But you're at a family event and you're trying to keep some food warm, oh yeah, I could definitely see this working. You wanna heat up a little bit of bread, again, I feel like camping will be awesome for this. Obviously, you need access to 120 volt power, so that could be a huge downside for a lot of the effects. All right, it's been about 15 minutes, guys. All right, if we take a peek here, we're maxing out at about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is not quite getting up to that rated temperature, but guys, for the price, this thing's pretty awesome. Now, how long is it gonna last? Who knows? It's basic heating coils running through a silicone mat. The silicone mat will probably last forever until you cut it or physically break it down, but it's thick. It's good quality. It comes with a carrying case. You can see the coils here on the back. Honestly, I can see why a lot of people are buying this. All right, coming into the next item, the box was thoroughly destroyed in shipping, but I have plenty of screenshots of the actual unit. I picked this up, and we have a couple of comparisons for today. This is a turbofan I bought on Amazon for around 90 bucks. This is a turbofan you can get on TEMU for around $22. We'll get into that here in a minute. This was $5. These claim 13 to 15,000 RPMs. This one claims that it blows temperature 20 degrees colder than what goes into it. There is no Peltier effect inside of this. This is just a fan, and there is no possible way, but for science sake, we have the thermal camera out, we'll go ahead and prove it. Coming into it, it's very simple. USB Type-C port in the back. You have your fan inlay here with a little guard on the front. You have this switch, which is supposed to support 5 different modes. If you double click, you are on, that is mode 1. It's showing 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. Now, at 100%, I would say lackluster at best. Does it work? Does it have a built-in battery? Absolutely. Is it super cheap? Yes. But it has pretty poorly designed fans. The fan curve of this makes it extremely loud for the amount of air you're getting out. This was number 2, just for the record, guys. On a lot of lists, this little fan was one of the number 2 most sold items. Current temperature of the desk is 79 to 85 degrees. We'll go ahead and hit it with the fan. I could sit here all day, guys, and the results are not going to change. Yes, you might drop 1 or 2 degrees simply from thermal transfer with the wind moving, but I am not a huge fan of this fan. It works, the price is cheap, yes. And if you just need a personal fan, I guess it would work, but this weird blade design inside really makes this thing way louder than it needs to be for the amount of air that it's actually moving. Now, we can't talk about fans and handheld fans without showing you guys again the turbo fans. When I initially bought this turbo fan right here, this one came from TEMU. If you just type in turbo fan with the words orange, you're going to find this. It's still on there. I checked yesterday. They're at like $22 now. It was $45 when I first purchased it. Guys, these things are awesome. I use these for cleaning floors, computers. I rebuilt my computer just recently. Got the new one set up now with the new Ryzen 9950X3D. When I took out all the old stuff to put in a new computer for a buddy of mine, dusty, pretty normal, this got all of the dust out. It's awesome. Here, we'll take an empty bag. I mean, this sucker moves some air. I would show you guys in my hair, but, well, you know. Another thing, boom, quick little test. Like nothing. Let's see if it'll move this one. This one has a full product in it. That was full. that has a light in it. I'm gonna show you guys that here in a little bit. Now the Amazon one that I got, while it's a little bit more rounded, they seem to be almost identical, except this one's way more. So still one of my top 5 TEMU products ever is this turbo fan. Extremely useful. The batteries last average. If you use mode 2, they're gonna last you a lot longer than mode 1. Mode 1 it's the super turbo mode. Okay, but now coming back in to the product I just blew off the table. This is the Super Bright Camping Light 54 LED YD-2324. This is a weird product. I have not been able to find it in my orders. I see it in my email receipts, but it's the only product I've ever purchased that is no longer showing up in my orders. I have not opened it, I have not tested it, but as a comparison, I do have my absolutely favorite TEMU camping light right here for a little comparison. Now, another fun fact, when I actually look up this product, the only place I can find it for sale is over in the UAE, over near Dubai, and it's 100 AED, which does bring it into a pretty reasonable price if you live in that area. It's about $27 US. So let's go ahead and open her up here. We have an extension function here with some kind of oil that just leaked out of it right down here. That's interesting. Then we have this versatile little cap thing that's supposed to work as both a sunscreen and a stand, but it just kind of loosely sits in there. So we'll see. It does come with USB Type-C charging. We always love to see that, and a small owner's manual. Not too much else on there. It shows that you can also hang it, use it for car work, use it for working. But in the end, it's a light. What matters is how long does it last and how bright is it. So right here, we have this button here. This is going to turn on your handheld flashlight. Actually, that's decently bright. Really good spread to it. Not bad. It's got a couple of different modes, including a nice little blink mode. Then we have our top light. Let's check out the modes here. Now, for $27, if you happen to live over by the UAE and can order it, because I can't find this anywhere, I can already tell you which one I'm gonna pick, because this one right here was originally $60. I found it as low as $35. If you can get this one for $35 compared to $27 here, well, you guys already know how this goes. Absolute beast of a unit. First one with me on my winter camping video. We used this the entire time we were setting up the tent, multiple hours outside in the absolute freezing cold, and then we used it while cooking afterwards. And this one is far brighter. This is probably one of my most used TEMU purchases ever. It also has different color modes for fun. Not really sure how useful those are. I mostly just use the white one. Then it also has a built-in Bluetooth speaker. Now I will say the built-in Bluetooth speaker is nothing to write home about, but it is going to be slightly louder than your average cell phone and a little bit clearer. Plus, the battery life on this thing also allows it to be a built-in battery bank. Right here on the back, you have a USB Type A and C port for charging your devices. And now that's not quite where this one ends. We have a flip-out mechanism on the bottom that gives you feet and a little bit of an extra stand. Really cool thing about that, it's threaded in the bottom so you can attach it to a camera stand. Pretty nice touch. Yes, you guys can see all the dirt here. I have been working on my boat lately because we have a couple of boat videos coming out here very soon, and my boat doesn't quite run right. But yes, this little guy here, it's really cool idea. It's just, it's not very bright. The whole point of a light is to be bright for me. I wouldn't find much use in this, and I honestly wouldn't recommend it. Coming up next, this is the EAFC car jump starter. Now, this looks very, very similar to the first one we tested that was red. And on some smaller cars, it worked. With these lithium-ion battery packs, I know that these smaller battery packs have the power to jumpstart just about anything. I have one that'll start my diesel truck just like that without a question, but that one also cost a lot more than this one. All right, guys, new plan. This is the battery in my boat. She is currently dead. I will show you. Get this. Yeah, dead. It's my fault. I left the lights on yesterday. This boat is currently in the process of being worked on, but I know that it's just barely too low. So let's see if this thing can do anything. Looks like it's on. Let's give it a shot.
Now guys, this is a 5.0 V8, and you guys heard the clicks. It didn't have the power to turn it over, and now it does. Had to mess with the throttle a little bit to get her going. But yeah, right there, dead battery. I mean, who knows how long that thing's actually gonna work? Who knows how much it's actually gonna do? But for now, it worked. It's cheap, and it'll fit in your glove box.
All right, and now for our last product. This is a recent #1. All three of the lists I got said this one has been flying through the ranks. So we have right here, this is a 2-in-1 portable espresso maker, ultra table extraction, ultra dense, rich crema, rapid heating. I don't know what crema is. So we have some espresso roast, they're beans, grind them down here in a minute, and then we're gonna make ourselves some espresso and see how it works. A couple of stats on the box. It does say it is rated for 100 watts, has a 7800 milliamp hour battery. Charging time is about 2 hours. Seems useful, but again, with TEMU and regulatory standards, we don't know exactly how true a lot of those are. So let's start with the accessories. We have ourselves a 25-watt wall charger, some kind of plastic thing, a little scoop thing, some instructions. We will probably need those. Got ourselves a little brush, maybe for cleaning out. We have ourselves a little stamper. This is going to be for lightly compacting the coffee grounds once you put them in the holder. Another special attachment here. USB Type-C charger. Wow, that is soft. This might be one of the softest fabrics ever. Kalilas with 2 dolphins. Man, that's quite the carrying bag there. That's pretty nice. It feels almost like velvet, but softer. All right, and here is the actual unit itself. Looks like here on the bottom we have our cup/drinking cup. Down here in the bottom we have the space where our coffee grinds go. And then on this end right here we have our water tank. This is going to be where you put the water, and there you have some max and minimum fill lines. All right, just a quick update on the jump starter box. After I went out to test it on the boat, I got a little distracted. I've had a problem I've been trying to solve for quite a while. Did get it figured out, thankfully. The little tiny jumper box actually managed to jump the boat 3 times. No running in between. I didn't want it running. I was trying to troubleshoot a problem. But hey, the idea that it managed to jump a 5.7 liter V8 that was at about 11 volts 3 times, not bad. Okay, so we have our coffee set up here in front of us. We have the actual brewer here. We have the coffee cup. This one here is apparently for pods. I am not using pods in this one, so we're gonna set that off to the side. Then right here, this is where we put the actual coffee grounds. We just went with some Starbucks espresso roast beans here. Ooh, fresh beans smell so good. It's probably way more than I need, but it'll give us a little bit of excess to work with. All right, here we go. Already making a mess. I don't know exactly how much to put in, but it does show that you put it in and you kind of stomp it down a little bit. So now I've seen other people do this in the past. I've always kind of wanted to get into the whole coffee making or espresso making because honestly, it looks pretty entertaining. I know they use these little bristles to help aerate. I don't have any of that fancy stuff, and it did not come in this pack, so we're gonna run it just as it is. We got her stamped in there, looking pretty legit. Is now going to go into this lower basin. This is where the actual coffee is going to drain out of in the end. Just kind of press fit in there. Then we screw her into the bottom. All right, nice tight fit. This is gonna be the cup it's gonna brew into. And then our last move is to pour water right here in the top. So have some nice water up here. But it just kind of pressure fits. So don't tip this upside down. All right, now we're gonna long press this and hold for 2 seconds to start the heating process. Started this about 30 seconds late. We'll see how long it goes. Yeah, she's coming out. Took about 7 minutes total to kind of get going. Remember, I started this about 30 seconds late on the timer. All right, and we get a little bit of a beep once it's actually done. Our frothy espresso over. I mean, it smells great. Just doing a taste test, that is That is some strong, strong espresso. Honestly, it tastes about as strong as when I made that Black Rifle coffee in my one camping video with the inflatable tent, and I used way more grounds than any one person should. Yeah, I think I have about 100 comments telling me to use less grounds. Now, you do have the option to use hot water in this, so if you already have prepared hot water, but in all fairness, if you already have prepared hot water, you probably don't need this portable unit here. But honestly, really cool gift idea. If you have that friend who likes coffee, I highly recommend this unit right here. And if you guys want to make your life easier with nice camping, working, everyday light, make sure to check out the links for this one here as well. And again, 22 bucks for this fan. Guys, we have a lot more content coming up here soon between cars, boats, water, camping. We're gonna be testing a whole bunch of things out in the field, including the Jeep Gladiator. I've talked about it a few times. But on that note, that's gonna be about it for this video, guys. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.